Next tonight, a Plymouth woman whose mother has been in a care home since the start of the pandemic is calling on the government to do more to help families visit their loved ones and combat the growing problem of loneliness and isolation among older people.
Karen Rogers says her 75-year-old mother's dementia has worsened since restrictions were imposed earlier in the year and fears for her future if she's not able to have face-to-face visits. Sam Blackledge is in Plymouth for us this evening. Sam, this is difficult for so many families. What can be done to help?
Well, as you say, Jonty, it's a really difficult balancing act, isn't it? Because on the one hand, the last thing the government wants is for the virus to get back into care homes and start spreading, as it did at the start of the pandemic, with so many elderly and vulnerable people still at risk. But on the other hand, it's been a really long time for so many families to go without that treasured face-to-face contact with their loved ones. I've been speaking to one family in Plymouth who feel as if they're caught in the middle. This photograph of Marion Searle was taken 7 months ago when she first went into a care home. This one is a recent picture. 75-year-old Marion unrecognisable from her previously happy, active self. Marion's daughter Karen says her mother's dementia has rapidly deteriorated since the beginning of the year.
She now needs hoisting in and out of bed. She's incontinent. She has to have pureed food, has to be fed, so she is totally dependent on the carers to do everything for her.
The strict rules placed on care homes mean Marion's family have been forced to communicate through windows, or where it's allowed, from a distance. But this is no replacement for proper physical contact.
The carers obviously do their best, but they haven't got time to spend quality time with her. They haven't got time to keep her mind active. They'll go in, they'll feed her, they'll change her. That's it, that's her life, and it's not a good quality of life, and she's just going to decline even more now.
So do you think that the lack of social contact has actually made your mum's condition worse, and if we hadn't had the lockdown she wouldn't have gone downhill so quickly?
Yeah, I definitely think so. In the beginning, when she was in the care home, we could visit her, we could take her out, I could bring her out for dinner, she could visit her family, she could still do those things, but she was still safe going back there, and if she still had that stimulation, there's no way she'd have been this bad, no way.
Karen does not blame the care home staff themselves, but she feels the government is not being flexible enough when it comes to allowing family visits.
I totally understand that they want to keep them safe, but it's not doing them no good. People are dying, they're actually dying because they're lonely, they're not having that contact, they're just going downhill too quick. I miss my mum, my family misses my mum, we need quality time.
The government is to trial a new scheme to allow family members to be treated as key workers, with regular testing and protective equipment, which would allow more face-to-face visits. Karen believes this approach could make a huge difference to her mum and to many others.
She needs feeding, I could help feed her. It takes pressure off the carers, they're very busy. I could do that, I could feed her, I could go for a family album with her, I can talk to her, I can reassure her. It would help so many families and so many residents, their mental health, their mental well-being.
A spokesman for the Department of Health said our priority remains the prevention of infection in care homes to protect staff and residents, but we are considering plans to allow specific family and friends to visit care homes safely. We will set out further details in due course.
Things need to change. Too many old people are being, affected by this, and families. It's not nice not being able to see your mother or your brother or your partner or whatever. It's not nice.
As she scrolls through her family photos, looking back on all the good times she's shared with her mum down the years, Karen hopes her message will be heard and that before too long they can be properly reunited. Well, that campaign to allow families to safely return to visiting their loved ones in care homes is being led by a group called Rights for Residents. Earlier on, we spoke to one of their co-founders, and she was keen to stress that point, that people's lives really will be at risk if the government doesn't act on this soon.
Yesterday, I was emailed 5 times by members of our group for whom this is now too late. They've actually lost their loved ones now. So time is not on our side, and soon isn't soon enough. So the government need to listen to what people are telling them and do something right now, because this is a national scandal.
Well, last week the Social Care Minister told the Health Select Committee that pilot scheme will be ready to launch very soon. She couldn't give a specific date. She said she does want to see a safe return to care homes, but many charities are calling on the government to give more detail, and they want to nail down a date on which those changes will take effect.
Sam Blackledge in Plymouth for us this evening. Thank you.